Welcome to Making Room, a podcast inspiring people to accelerate change by being a catalyst, honoring creativity, and acting with courage. We are making room for the greatest potential of our community.
Welcome, you are welcome here. Welcome to this open door, dear. Our hands are reaching out for you. The floor is clear and we've made room for you.
Welcome back to Making Room. We're really excited about part two of our interview with Beate Perrey today, who's a noted classical pianist based in Paris, France. And she studied at Harvard and Cambridge, and then also studied meditation under Jack Kornfield, Tara Brach, and the late Thich Nhat Hanh. And she's just an extraordinary human being. She's a poet, and what she's been doing to utilize the music and the piano to resettle the brain and work with large organizations around the world is truly remarkable. I had a chance to experience it when I was in Paris. So today we're going to dive right into a portion of our interview with her where we're talking about the neuroscience and the brain and its connection to music and how it can be this force for healing, to create a kinder, gentler world, and ultimately maybe speed up the change that we all want by making sure we have time to settle our minds. So today we want it also to be a little experiential, where after you hear the conversation and you hear her performance, to just see what happens and go on this journey with us. And thank you for listening.
I love the idea of, we go on vacation to try and build some of that time to recharge, reconnect, but there's this added level of intentionality and truly pausing, because oftentimes you go on vacation and then you want to see everything and do everything and be so engaged. But I love that you could just have an experience in a home and take that moment to sit with music and with yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes when people go on a holiday here in Paris, they know there's so much to see. And so they've got long lists, and they know they're here just for 3 days or for 5 days. And there's also this trend to want to take pictures for Instagram and social media in front of all kinds of, famous buildings and so on. And so it turns into a potentially stressful time. And it's the most important thing is really how you can experience yourself wherever you are and with whoever you are. It's not the city or the buildings, it's what does it evoke in you? How do you, feel transformed or uplifted by whatever you encounter, whether it's a painting in a gallery, whether it is the Eiffel Tower maybe, whether it is a different kind of food, whether it's the language you're listening to. So, but to really take that in, you need time and you need a calm mind. And a calm mind you can achieve through a calm body. In a concert, when it's not all about performance in the sense of spectacular, exploits in terms of technique and so on and so forth. When it's more really about the connecting to a piece of music or a piece of poetry also, you have that chance to calm down your body and thereby to calm down your mind. And so there's this famous lizard brain, Shivani. You're much more of a specialist.
I love to hear when people outside of medicine speak about the brain.
Yes, you as a physician, you know more about this.
Well, that's what I felt. You said the lizard brain. I felt I walked in and I had been shopping and, do I get this or that? And people said, well, go to this museum or this. And something happened in me, and I'd love to know what you were trying to create or what you saw, is that I felt, and I feel it a lot of times in society, this pursuit of more. And, okay, I just bought this shirt, I now need this. And I now need to go to this restaurant. And I will say when I've been writing in my journal a lot, I want to help build a kinder and gentler world. And when I'm in the pursuit of more, I'm not as kind and gentle in my heart, because my heart and my body is not still. And so something started to happen to me where I jokingly said I became just quiet, like that 4-year-old kid. So based on your training in neuroscience, Zen Buddhism, you've trained with some of the most renowned practitioners in meditation and music. You've put a lot of things together. So what was happening to me in my brain, both when I'm pursuing more and what started to happen as you used the piano and just your presence to settle me as I became more of who I am, which I believe is a kind, gentle man?
Yeah, to get sucked into this whole trend of more and faster, that is really a whole trend. And it's very, it really requires awareness and switching on to the fact that that's what is happening. For us to then step in and say, I'm not going down that road. I'm not playing that game of more and more and more, because I know that that's not going to make me happy. To the contrary, in fact. And the lizard brain is that brain that really kicks in automatically. It is the most ancient part of the brain. It, by definition, was and has the function of taking care of ourselves, keeping us safe. And it is a very fast brain, and a brain that works very, very efficiently and is very, very good for many situations in our lives. So we don't have to, consciously take care of a whole range of functionalities in this, absolutely magical organism that is our body. So in fact, when you're on the street and a car is coming at you, then it's the lizard brain is going to take care for you to get out of the way of the car. It takes care of you, it keeps you safe. But when we are in this kind of heightened, tense state of multitasking, of trying to run after a whole range of appointments and so on and so forth, and we put ourselves under pressure, the body really tenses up, and it's that makes the lizard brain switch on. And in that moment, there's another brain that we also have, which is less ancient and is much slower and is also more expensive to run, so to speak, to simplify a little bit. And that is responsible and capable of making meaning and of appreciating beauty, for example. And so that part of the brain that is essentially really what makes us human is pushed away by the lizard brain. The lizard brain takes over. It makes a lot of sense that it does, because it wants to keep us safe. And in order to survive, we don't need to make much sense. We also don't need beauty. If you're in the middle of the road and a car comes at you, you don't need analytical, faculties and reasoning capacities. You also don't need to have a sense for beauty and notice any beauty, because all you need is now to get out of the way of the car. And so really what we did at the very beginning with our breathing exercise is one way of calming down the body and coming into feeling our body and reassuring the lizard brain, the survival brain, that we are in a safe place and that we can now simply let go of all these defense mechanisms, and that scanning, that the lizard brain is famous for, which is, scanning where the next danger could come from. Once that brain is in that mode, it scans the environment and all kinds of things, mentally and so on, and also sensorially. And thereby, the capacity of noticing beauty or making sense doesn't play a role anymore. It's really crowded out, in fact. So once you calm down, your mind also comes down, and your lizard brain is reassured, and you can then really enjoy, those things that we as humans are here to enjoy, which is, you know, really beauty and what do these things mean? What does a piece of music mean? What does this poem maybe mean for me, for others? And so that's the whole idea of this experience. And from what you described, this is maybe what happened to you.
We talk in prior episodes, of the idea of safety and security and really calming down that lizard brain so that we can experience life, right? Creating human connection, being able to feel safe in an environment, to have conversations, but also to just experience and notice the things around us with open eyes and openness. So I love that you are using music as a facilitator to allow that experience to happen and to calm down the brain.
And to really see people. We've talked a lot, Beate, the definition of creativity we use on the podcast is to honor the way someone sees the world. And you might express beauty and love through piano. I'm going to try hers on, but she expresses beauty and love by how she calms and nurtures families and takes care of children. And in a lot of ways, she's an incredible drawer, and she can do all, we thought there was a Hallmark card here one time when we saw one of her drawings. But food, but what it gets to, though, Beate, what I'm struck with what you're describing is that when we get to that beauty, we can see better. And I don't mean see I do mean see, but I mean see what's in front of you and see this is a human being, and if that human being is suffering or experiencing pain, can I be present enough to be with them and see them and all they are in that moment, and then also enjoy? We talk a lot about common humanity here and what people talk about in South Africa related to Ubuntu. And would you give us a little flavor or taste of what happens and share kind of what you're going to do?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Let me start.
Because they don't, but they're not going to let me. Sorry to interrupt, but I have yet to be able to sing in here, Beate. So we got to get the pros like you coming in here.
Yeah. So to lead back to our very start, where we were focusing on our breath and breathing in and breathing out, and that flow really of the breath going through us automatically all our lives, even in our sleep and so on. Let me share a piece that I'm very fond of, because it feels to me like it is a composed meditation on the breath work, on breathing in and breathing out. It's also, though, a piece that carries the title Lovers or Friends, and both of those, but where you also have, hopefully, a give and take, where one person is saying something, another person is answering, and that's also what you guys are creating in this beautiful room together, and making space for sharing and for people being catalysts for others. And so you'll hear in that piece how someone may be saying something, another person listening and then coming back in. And it's also just a wonderful composition, just as is. And it introduces you to my big friend here. So here we go.
Okay.
that was so lovely.
I'm relaxed now. Oh, what you thinking?
Oh, oh goodness. I feel like there was such, the context of it being about this idea of a relationship, but I could sense the like moments of joy and question and kind of that back and forth that we do as human beings as we connect with each other. I could certainly kind of hear and sense and feel that through the piece.
Yeah, and both I love that it's called Lovers and Friends, because you can kind of feel both of that, and also how you can have friends that you love, and but I'm just struck I feel music, and the feeling of just continuing to quiet, my body feels so much quieter. Like when you stopped playing and paused, our producer Brian has said before that, pauses are really good. And remembering not to always fill space, because those 10 seconds that will, like, all of a sudden I heard the audio. There was no audio, but I heard the headphone for probably the first time in 6 months we've been recording here.
Yeah.
And it's always been there, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about noticing the small, subtle things.
We invite you to continue making room with us. You'll find this episode and all of our exciting and meaningful conversations on Apple, Spotify, or really anywhere you choose to listen to podcasts.
Join the Making Room movement and get more info at makingroomwithus.com, or follow us on Instagram at Making Room With Us.
Thank you for showing up for us and each other. Until next time.
You are wonderful and full of truth, just as you are. You are wonderful, so full of truth, just as you are. You are wonderful, so full of truth, just as you are, just as you are. You're welcome here, just as you are.